Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Venerable Chief Reverend, Venerable Sir, friends and children in the Dhamma, welcome for our Saturday regular Dhamma talks. We are continuing the series of 37 Enlightenment Factors, and today we are to begin a fresh subtopic including in these 37 Enlightenment Factors. The subtopic is the 5 faculties, Pañca Indriya. So let us begin this talk explaining on these 5 faculties, Pañca Indriyas, as the parts of 37 Enlightenment Factors. When we say Enlightenment Factors, these are the factors which support somebody's enlightenment. Lord Buddha, when he was enlightened at Gaya under the Bodhi tree, in the morning of the full moon day of May, the Vesak full moon day, he got enlightened. As the night passed by, when the last star from the sky was disappearing, at dawn, he got enlightened. After the enlightenment, it says that he spent 49 days, 7 weeks under the vicinity of the Bodhi tree. 49 days he did not have any sort of food. In the legend it says that 49 days he survived without food based on the last meal he took prior to his enlightenment. Sujata, one of the chieftain's wife in the nearby village, she offered such a nutritious milk rice. After the Bodhisattva consumed that milk rice, it was enough for him to spend 49 days. Now, I cannot agree, and many scholars, many erudite Buddhists do not believe on this. So how did he spend 49 days without meal, without a food? What was his nutriment to survive his physical body without food for such a long, extended period? It was the happiness. That happiness, overwhelming happiness that he experienced after getting rid of all the defiled states of mind, after achieving the ultimate purity in his consciousness, the happiness, the joy, the bliss that he experienced was so overwhelming, overflowing, he did not need any sort of material food to survive. That happiness was the food for his body to survive. He was continuously enjoying that peace, that serenity he achieved with the enlightenment. Happiness was his food. So, a feeling of happiness being dominant over the body, and the body could survive, feed on, depend on that domineering happiness within. That's how he survived for 49 days. The happiness. We can experience this ourselves when we are affected or afflicted by a certain utter misery, sadness. You don't eat. When they are being asked, why don't you eat? They say, I don't feel hungry. I don't feel any hunger. Because that misery is so overwhelming, the food for the body is that misery. Body is surviving on that misery. So, when a feeling become the dominant, become authoritative, become controlling, then that feeling can be called a faculty. Indriya is the Pali term, Sanskrit term for this faculty. Now, Indriya is not just a Buddhist term, it is directly related to Hinduism, the Hindu tradition. Indra, one of the Trimurti in Hinduism, from the times of Vedic traditions, from the ancient most times in Hinduism, there were three gods, most powerful divine figures: Brahma, Indra, Ishvara. Brahma the creator, Indra the protector, and Ishvara is the destroyer. So Indra, among this Trimurti, considered as the supreme-most authority among the divine beings. He is the Lord among lords. So Indra is translated as a controlling power, an authoritative energy. So Indriya translated as belonging to or agreeable to Indra, which is the supreme-most God. Now in Buddhism, Buddha does not agree with the God as an individual, as a personality. Buddha agrees with the God as a quality. So he gave a novel approach to the world. The God as a quality, he said, godliness. Not as a person, not as a personality or individual, but as a quality. Godliness is there. God is being rejected. And what is godliness? He simply says, shame and fear to do good, to do bad. Shame and fear. Hiri or tappa. Hiri is shame to do bad, to kill, to steal, to lie, to cheat, to get drunk, to torture, whatsoever considered bad in any particular society. If somebody has the shame to do so, shame to commit them, and the fear to commit them, Hiriyottappa, that person has the qualities of godliness within him. In other words, he has a God within him. So if somebody doesn't have shame and fear to do wrong, to do bad, he does not have a God within, but a devil within. Because of a devil or devilish nature within, he is capable of committing any kind of horrendous, any kind of mischievous, any kind of harmful deed to the world, because he does not have that shame and fear to do evil. So the Hiri and Ottappa are considered the qualities of God or godliness. If somebody has these qualities, whosoever it is, the godliness is there. So Lord Buddha's vision does not approve any personality called God or Goddess. What he agrees with, there is the qualities of godliness. Whosoever have these qualities, that person can be considered as a divine being. But in Hinduism, it is a different scenario. We are not arguing with that, but we are just present in the Buddhist point of view. So, Hinduism, among these triple powers, superior powers in the world, one of the most powerful power is to protect the world. Who is the protector? Indra. Now, Buddhism took this word Indra to his teachings to indicate authority over certain areas, certain aspects. Now, here we are talking about Pañca Indriya, 5 faculties. Now, a Buddhist who knows Buddhism well, he understands that Pañca Indriya is usually the 5 faculties of physicality: eye, ear, nose, tongue and the body. The sensitivities in these 5 faculties allows that person to experience the exterior world. The sensitivity of the eye is the eye faculty. Now this eye faculty is capable of dominating all the colors in the world. The eye, what can be observed is, by the use of this sensitivity to the exterior, only the color. Color is the only thing we can see. According to the color, we see the shape. So, ear dominate over the sounds, far and near, good or bad, melodious or rough. All the sounds are the areas for the ear to experience. The smells, odors are for the nose. Tastes are for the tongue. Tangibles are for the body. Now, each of these faculties are like ministers who have different subject areas, different directions to rule, to control. It's like the 50 states have 50 governors. The governor of a particular state can say anything about in that particular state, but he cannot say anything beyond that particular state. He has nothing to say about it. So Indra is that controlling, dominating power over a particular area. So Pañca Indriya, the 5 faculties called physical faculties, have these certain designated areas to cover up. He cannot interfere with the other areas. Now in Buddhism, there are 3 types of faculties. These faculties are the first one, most important one, most significant one. 5 spiritual faculties. This is the major topic on this subject area, on which that the 37 enlightenment factors are completed. Yeah, on which somebody can attain to enlightenment. 5 spiritual faculties. These are called Saddha, confidence, faith, Virya, energy, Sati, mindfulness, Samadhi, concentration, and Pañca, wisdom. I am not going to talk on these factors much, but for these factors there is a certain principle to be applied. That principle is the principle of middleness, the theory of middle path. As for anything else in Buddhism, for these faculties, confidence, saddha, energy, mindfulness, concentration and wisdom, middle path is the application. In Anguttara Nikaya, kindred saying, Lord Buddha met this young monk who was a newly ordained monk. His name was Zona. He was a prince type of a rich guy when he was at home. Very rich. Enjoying all the worldly pleasures to the top level. And when he became a monk, he went to the extreme in his practice. Now, we have to understand the era where the Buddhism was flourishing. Asceticism was based on physical torture. Physical torture, or we call it popularly Atta Kilamatanu Yoga, the extreme torment to the physical body, was considered one of the major part of the asceticism, of the monastic life. Physical torture. So it was the background on which Buddhism was introducing a middle path, a mild path which is against all extremes. So this young man must have been closely connected to those type of physical torture when he was at home. He must have been well aware of them. So when he became a Buddhist monk, Buddha's disciple, he tried to apply that kind of torturous, physically harmful practices to the practice of the Buddha, to the practice that the Buddha taught. When the other monks are walking on the path, on the road, which is a cleared one, this monk walks on the sideways, which has all sorts of thorns and all sorts of obstacles to suffer. When the monks are sitting under the shade, under trees, he sits under the sun, under the scorching sun. When the monks take one meal a day, he takes one meal for 2 days. Likewise, he was more into the extreme sort of practice. Whatever practice that the Buddha teach him to attend to, he goes to extremes. But he found no result. Extreme practice without result. Then Buddha said, you are developing these 5 faculties in the wrong way. At home, he had a lute, one of the musical instrument at that time in India. He was good at playing that lute. Then Buddha got this same lute as an example, and he asked, you should determine the right pitch for your persistence. Attune the pitch of the 5 faculties, and there pick up your theme. When the strings of your lute were neither too taut nor too loose, but tuned to be right on pitch. Was your lute in tune and playable? With this example, Buddha says that if your musical instrument, the strings are too taut, too tight, and or too loose, you cannot play that musical instrument. Those strings should be neither too taut nor too loose for you to play it. It is the same way that you should apply my teachings to your practice. Over-aroused persistence leads to restlessness. Overly slack persistence leads to laziness. This was the Buddha's teaching. Over-aroused persistence and overly slack persistence both doesn't work. Yeah. So you have to be mindful when you are developing on these 5 spiritual faculties, not to go to extremes, but to keep them in the middle, keep them in the right track so that you can be enlightened. Now, these are the first faculties, first group of faculties, 5 spiritual faculties. Then the second group of spiritual is a group of faculties that we can find in Buddhism are the 6 sensory faculties. 6 sensory faculties are the eye, ear, nose, tongue, the body and the mind. Mind also considered as a faculty. I explained to you a while ago how these faculties have these particular areas to control, to dominate and to experience. Then the next category of faculties that we can see are the Dvavisati, 22 phenomenological faculties, which includes all the faculties which are explained, mentioned in Buddhism. Spiritual faculties, physical faculties are also included in these 22 phenomenological faculties. So let's have a look at them. First group is the 6 sensory faculties I just mentioned. Yeah, Chakku, Sota, Gahana, Jivha, Kaya, Mana. Mind is the last faculty. Of course, to the recent years in the Western countries, those psychologists hardly believed mind as the faculty. But I just mentioned you the story that Lord Buddha's spending of 49 days without food, based on the overwhelming power of the faculty of mind, which is full of happiness. Yeah. In the same manner, we can see the faculty of mind, how it dominates not just the physical body, but the physical bodies of others. Now in Russia, they had this investigation, they had this testing, how the mind can influence others. They had two individuals stationed in two cities which are far away from each other. One is in Leningrad, another somewhere hundreds of miles away. Now, they are being both plugged to sophisticated machines, and one person was asked to remember the other guy in faraway cities and to be so angry towards him, create and think hateful thoughts about him, hate him from the depth of his heart. So this man started remembering that person who is so far away in another city and developing such a strong hatred, anger towards that person. And with their machines plugged to their brains, those scientists found as soon as this man started thinking or radiating angry thoughts, hateful thoughts, resentful thoughts towards this particular person, suddenly there was a change in the wave systems in that person's brain. There was a sudden change. And after some time, when he was continuously radiating hateful thoughts to this particular person, being so far away, yet this person started showing a headache, very uncomfortable feelings in him. After some time, when he is continuing like this, the scientist told this person, okay, you stop now hating him, stop this, take a rest, and then you start radiating loving kindness towards him, thoughts of love towards him. And the scientist was surprised. After some time, when he starts radiating love towards that particular person, there was a soothing effect on his brain. They were amazed. But of course, this is nothing new to us. In Buddhism, it is very clearly mentioned. When your mind develop certain beautiful thoughts within you, and you can even dedicate these merits to those who are dead and gone. Dedicate these merits to somebody who is living already. Yeah. The transmigration of the mind is very clearly explained. So mind is a faculty which can dominate not only this physical body but also others. So the 6 faculties, 6 physical, chronological faculties. Then the 3 physical faculties. What are these 3 physical faculties? Indriya, the feminine faculty. Purisindriya, the masculine faculty. Yeah. The femininity is something always present in a lady. Whatever she think, whatever she does, whatever she talk, the feminine faculty, the hint of the femininity, that faculty is there, lurking behind. That is why the difference in the ways of doing, talking, thinking of men and women. This because of this faculty. Then the 5 feeling faculties. We all know that feeling is a singular phenomena. Buddha says all feelings are suffering. Why all feelings are suffering? Because all feelings bound to change. No matter how nice a feeling, it is going to change. No matter how bad is a feeling, it is also going to change. All feelings in a one singular nature, changing. So whatever is changing, it is a cause for suffering. So all feelings are suffering, Buddha says. But these feelings are changed according to the faculties, dominating areas, into 5 groups. They are the sukha, joyful feeling, physical joyful feeling, dukkha, physically painful feelings, somanassa, mentally pleasant feeling, somanassa, mentally, spiritually, psychologically pleasant feeling, domanassa, mentally unpleasant feeling. And the last one is upekha, equanimous feeling. Feeling that cannot be put in pain or bliss, which is equanimous. Now these 5 types of feelings, they can dominate us. Feeling is the origin of all thoughts. Feelings are the roots of all emotions. Feeling is the root. That's why in Buddhism, as the direct path to enlightenment, we practice awareness on 4 objective areas. They are the form, physical form, the postures, the arising and vanishing, the impermanent nature, and the repulsive aspect of the physical body. That is the first category. The second category is the feelings, sensations that arise in the body, Vedana-nupassana. First the physical body itself, then the feelings that arise in the body. Third is the mind, and fourth is the mental factors. So the second one is feelings. And these feelings are the roots of the mind. In the sense, our thinking patterns based on feelings. As we feel unknowingly, we are feeling them, and based on those feelings, thought patterns arise. In the meditator, vipassana meditator, understands where are the roots of these thought patterns and emotions. Roots are based on the feelings. Yeah. So the third faculties, why they are called faculties? When the feelings arise, they dominate the mind. They dominate the physical body. That is why they are faculties. Yeah. There are 5. Sukha, pleasant physical feelings. Dukkha, unpleasant or painful physical feelings. Somanassa, pleasant mental feelings. domanassa, unpleasant mental feelings. Physical and mental, two categories. Then the third one is upekha, equanimous feeling. Yeah. Physical, pleasant, unpleasant. Mental, pleasant, unpleasant. And the equanimous. 5 types of feelings. Remember, feeling is one in the Buddha's eyes. He says all the feelings are changing, hence they are suffering. Feelings are suffering. It's very true. It's very correct. Yeah. And of course in the Abhidhamma and in the later traditions of these commentaries, they categorized the feelings into different groups. So in one of the categorizations, they say feelings as faculties, indriyas, in the sense of controlling powers, ruling powers, dominating powers. So when the feeling arises, it controls our mind and our body. That's why they are indriyas. Yeah. So you see, when it is translated to English, faculty, it has no depth in it. Right? That's why we have to understand the meaning of the indriya. Indriya is to dominate, is to control or lordship over the associated states. Yeah, that's why they are called indriyas. Right? The faculty, that translation doesn't give that meaning. Yeah. Then the 5 spiritual faculties, we just mentioned them. Yeah. I'm not going to talk on them. Our next talk will be based on that. Go to the depth of the meanings of these: saddha, confidence or faith; virya, energy; sati, mindfulness; samadhi, concentration; and pañca, wisdom. Then the last category is 3 final knowledge faculties. 3 final knowledge faculties. They are ananya tanya samitindriya. It means the faculty, I will know the unknown. This arises for the people, for the individuals who are working on the spiritual development towards the supramundane path. Prior to arise the first path and fruition of Sotapanna, stream entry. So knowledge of the path and stream entry is signified with this faculty called ananya tanyasamitindriyam. The faculty, I will know the unknown. For us, what is unknown is supramundane, because simply we are stuck in the mundane, in the worldly sense pleasures. We are stuck in it. What is unknown are the supramundane. We may have been to heavens, we may have been to hell, but we have never been to supramundane, beyond the mundane realms. So it is unknown. The one who practice on the supramundane path, there must be some dominating energy, strength within him to go to that supramundane. That faculty, that energy is what do we call Ananya Thanyasamitindriya. The faculty, I will know the unknown. With that faculty, based on that faculty, he cultivates his spirituality. I think you got this. The next one is Anyata Vindriyam. The faculty of one who has finer knowledge. Anyata Vindriyam. What is this finer knowledge? Finer knowledge of the Arahanthood. So one who has attained to Arahanthood, the one who has become an Arahant, he has the faculty called Anyata Vindriyam, the faculty of one who has got to know, who has been awakened with the final knowledge. The last one is Anya Indriyam, Anyindriyam, the faculty of the final knowledge. These are the 6 intermediate kinds of supramundane knowledge between the Sotapanna and Arahanthood. Intermediate kind of supramundane knowledge is signified with this faculty, Anyindriyam, the faculty of the final knowledge. Now these are the 22 phenomenological faculties, which are including all sorts of faculties, indriyas, in Buddhism. These faculties categorized as several groups based on the context. Based on the context, the suttas are uttered, teachings are done. Now, our wish is to explain to you the spiritual faculties, not the physical 6 faculties or any other sort of faculties, but the spiritual faculties which help someone to attain Nibbana. In Samyutta Nikaya, there is a Samyutta, a long one called Indriya Samyutta. In this Samyutta, Buddha has presented these 5 faculties, 5 spiritual faculties: Saddha, Virya, Sati, Samadhi, Pañca. He has presented them in all sorts of manner to apply, to practice upon, and to develop, and also to comprehend them, to get rid of them. To get rid of them, to let go of them, also explained in this Samyutta Nikaya, Indriya Samyutta. Now in Abhidhamma, if you can remember our previous talk based on Chanda, Virya, Chitta, Vimamsa, these desire, energy, mind and investigation, if you can remember them, these 4 factors are considered predominants which rule over the whole life, the whole body, whole mind. Chanda, Virya, Chitta, Vimamsa. It is like the president who is the sole ruler of the entire country, while the governors are only ruling, controlling their designated areas. So those Chanda, Virya Chitta Vimamsa, desire, energy, mind and investigation are compared to a president of a country or a king of a country. And these faculties are compared to ministers or the governors of this country, who have nothing to say about the others ruling areas, but to be mindful and protective, to do something with their own designated areas. Yeah. So the 5 faculties are so important for one to learn these, to be educated upon them and to develop on them. I can see the religious people get deceived by the cunning individuals by deceiving them or by guiding them in the wrong direction, and by taking their properties, yeah, or money, deceive them. Thus cunning men. So much of cunning people have entered into Buddhism also, and they are misusing Buddhism simply because Buddhists are not developing these 5 faculties in the balanced manner. As the Buddha told Sona, his disciple, to balance the lute, that musical instrument, to get the music out of it. So any practicing Buddhist should have a clear knowledge on these 5 faculties. Walk on the right directions, straight directions, to become Ujupatipanno, who has entered on the direct path to Nibbana. Not to be deceived by those cunning men. Not to be directed to wrong directions, to mislead, but to walk on the right path towards Nibbana. It is significant, it is mandatory, it is important to learn these 5 faculties of the spirituality. Okay? Please join with us next Saturday for further explanations on these 5 faculties. Thank you very much for the day, for listening. Let's dedicate all these merits and let's wind up this talk. Oh, may all our departed ones be rejoiced with our merits by listening to this Dhamma, by enjoying the Dhamma. The happiness that arose in our hearts be dedicated to all our departed ones, wherever they are, however they are, if they are suffering. May this happiness be a beacon light for them to move out of that suffering and move on to a better existence, a blissful existence. May the Devas be rejoiced with our merits. May their protection, may their guidance be with you all. Always, especially in these difficult times of pandemic, to be protected, yourself and your beloved ones. May the Devas' protection be with you all. May our departed ones and Devas be rejoiced with this beautiful happiness that arises in our hearts by listening to this Dhamma. Let's share merits. Idamme ñātinang hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Idamme ñātinang hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Idamme ñātinang hotu sukita huntu ñātayo. Akasatta ca bummatta deva naga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu loka sasanang. Akasatta ca bummatta deva naga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chiran rakkantu loka sasanang. Akasatta ca bummatta deva naga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu loka sasanang. Blessings for you. Dukkha roga bhaya vera soka sabbe upaddava aneka antaraya pi vinassantu ca tejasa. Jaya siddhidanang labhang sotti bhagyan sukham balang siriyayu ca vanno ca bhogam uddhi ca yasava satavasa ca ayu ca jiva siddhi bhavantu te ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevaca ato nibbana sampatti iminate samijjatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.